Hello and welcome to the Sweaty Startup. Get an audio check real quick. Looking okay. Turn me up a little better. All right. Hope you all are doing well here in Athens, Georgia at the office. I've been busy. Holy cow, I've been busy. Exciting stuff happening though. We have 4 properties under contract. I'm headed north probably early next week to close them. I'm also negotiating several more. So I'm excited. But right now we're going to take your calls. If you want to email in or if you want to call in, email me, nick@sweatystartup.com. We'll get you on the next call. Right now we got Nico. See what he's got going on.
Good morning, Nico speaking.
Hi, Nico. This is Nick with the Sweaty Startup. How's it going?
Hey, Nick. I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
Good, good. I hope I can help you. Tell me a little bit about what you going on. What you got going on?
Yeah, so a little bit about myself here. I am 21 years old, based out of Vancouver, Canada. I run a marketing agency that caters to the luxury market, specifically real estate and automotive. I have a bunch of clients right now. My 2 biggest ones are Ferrari and Maserati. And yeah, I'm really struggling right now with my time management. Only
Okay.
because I'll have a bunch of stuff going on in a day. Like, for example, right now I'm actually at a client's office because he just texted me to if I could come over. So I said, yeah, I can pop by the office. And I had a whole bunch of stuff planned for this morning, but then stuff like this gets me sidetracked, right?
Okay.
So
So you run, you do say digital marketing?
yeah, I do digital marketing.
Okay. So you basically starting projects and they're not you're not able to finish them on time? Are you missing deadlines, or what are the results of some of this?
It's I mean, it's not. I don't really miss deadlines. Like, there's times where I'll just grind out a project if I need to, right? Like, yeah, I'll stay up until like 2, 3 in the morning, and work on something if I need to, right?
Mhm.
Um, so I want to say that the outcome, to answer your question, is probably not my greatest work. When I know it could be better if I were to maybe schedule some time, or like I'm not sure how to go about it. Because I've only been in business for 4 or 5 months now. So I'm
Yeah,
still getting
you're
used
you're
to
young, man. How
the
did
hang of things.
I have a lot of questions about how you grew the business so big so quickly. How much
It's
revenue?
mostly
How
time.
much? What we can get to all that. So first of all, about the time management. I'm assuming you're
Yeah.
single. Do you have your own place?
No, I actually live with my parents. I work out of my bedroom, but I do have a shared office space in another city, about 20, 30 minutes away, where I meet with my clients.
Perfect. Okay, so what are your routines like? Whenever I'm distracted, whenever I feel kind of frazzled, I always go back to thinking about my routines and when I can really kind of set aside undistracted time to, do the work that just needs to be done. It's not always fun, but just focus on it and get it done. Are
Yeah.
you stay up late, or are you a morning person? Or do you not really have a routine? It's just kind of running around doing whatever needs to be done at that moment.
You know what? I want to call myself a morning person, um, but there's times where, like last night, for example, I stayed up until like 1 in the morning just working on stuff for my own agency, and then slept in a little bit today. I woke up around 8 o'clock, where ideally I'd like to wake up at like 6:37,
Hmm.
where I force myself to just get out of bed. I do yoga every morning, just 15-minute routine before bed, sort of in the middle of the day and like at the end of the day, just to keep my mentally and
That's good.
mental and physical health on point. But yeah, like I don't really have like a set routine. Like I just wake up, eat, shower, yoga, and just get to work right away. And whatever the day sort of throws at me, then I just go with it. So
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, this is the tough one, man. I mean, at some point, I think you're going to have to just kind of really think about what's causing the shortfalls and how you could possibly improve. I might be able to help you think about it a little bit. Are your clients too needy, or um, are- do you bill
uh,
them per hour, or why are they distracting you and calling you to their office and doing all that?
that's a question that I was going to ask you right now. Like, what would you recommend that I go about this? Right? Like, I have my clients on like a monthly retainer, depending on what they need. Sometimes we're just doing project-based work, like just some video content for them, or photography or graphic design, whatever it may be. But for my retainer clients, like, I had a whole day planned of just like editing videos, working on stuff for my clients, strategy stuff. And then, my client asked me to pop by the office. Would you recommend that I say, no, I'm busy right now, and just, reschedule for next week and sort of hurt the relationship that way? Or do I just, drop what I'm doing and, come over to the office?
What did they need from you when you got there?
It was just a strategy talk. We were in the middle of talking about how we want to talk about he had an idea, or he was talking with one of his architects about the way his real estate company is going, and he sort of wants to change the direction to more of a super high-end luxury builder and not just renovator. So that's one thing that we're just talking about right now. So
Okay.
I feel like that could have waited. I didn't really ask like why.
Yeah,
I was,
but that's your high value work though. That's the work that they're paying you the big bucks to get involved in, right? So
yeah.
it's hard to not do that. I mean, how much are these clients paying you? Is it worth your time?
I mean, this one client's about 3,500 Canadian per month.
Okay, that's a lot, right?
Yeah. So I mean, he is one of my largest clients, and we do a bunch of work with him. Um,
Are you
so
tracking your
yeah.
time? Are you tracking how much time in a month?
No, I don't track my time. We sort of established the amount of work that was going to be done like within a week or a month, and we just go based on that. Like some weeks I might not be doing much, and then other weeks I'm just going
Yep.
all
Okay.
out
Yeah,
for the
I know that
company.
you're not tracking your time for billing, but are you tracking your time for your own purposes of knowing how much you're investing? Are you managing the expectations? Is there kind of like a scope creep where he's leaning on you more than you initially expected, and you're doing more than you initially expected, or do you feel like it's a healthy relationship of value and money?
I think it's a healthy relationship, but there is actually times where, in regards to the scope of work that was originally established, there's just sometimes stuff that just gets added on,
Hmm.
behind the scenes that are very minimal, but actually are quite tedious.
Hmm.
So I think that's one thing that you just mentioned right now that actually may be a big factor. Because, yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, the relationship's always good with all my clients. Like, I'm pretty good at just establishing a really good relationship, but I
Hmm.
think that's sometimes where the the con of it as well comes in, because they might throw in a thing or two here, and me being a nice guy, I'll say yes to it. But
And that's
yeah,
okay.
maybe that's
It's okay to
yeah.
do that in the long run. I mean, it makes them happy. But yeah, so even though you're not tracking your time, and even though you're on a retainer basis, I still think that you should have an idea of your profitability per hour.
Okay,
Does that make sense? Like
that's a
you,
yeah, 100%. Yeah,
you need an app on your phone where when you are working with a client, you click a button, and when you're done working with a client, you click the other button. There's several apps where you can literally just track your day like that. You don't need to go down to the
yeah,
minute of tracking your personal life, but
yeah.
I would track your time just so that you have a good idea of look at the week at the end of the week and say, okay, I'm on pace to spend 35 or 100 hours with this client, and they only are paying me $3,500 a month. That's only $35 an hour. That's not enough money.
Yeah,
And you're not going to know
that
that
makes
if you
sense.
just go off the seat of your pants. And I would also just try to schedule. So that's one thing. Track your time, track your profitability, not for billing purposes, but for your own management purposes and how you can manage your time.
That's a really good point. I actually never thought about that. So I think that's one thing that moving forward I can do that. I already use a similar app for like accounting thing that I use.
Hmm.
But yeah, I can definitely do that for like when I'm working with clients and whatnot, or just figuring out, like you said, like working out my hours and my time
Yeah,
with my
it's all about
clients. So
expectations. I mean, when you get a new client, you want to impress them. You want to be their right hand man. You want to come over for ad hoc meetings, but you also need
yeah,
to set expectations with them of what you can deliver and what you can't deliver. And
yeah,
if you need to, like, I always schedule my mornings to get the stuff that I have to get done because that's the only time that I can get uninterrupted time. It's either that or I'm staying up
perfect.
past 8 p.m. working on the stuff that's important because that's when people finally stop bothering me. Um,
Yeah,
so like first thing in the morning from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m., that's when I do the work that's most important that I can't be distracted while I'm doing that stuff. It's
yeah,
harder for you because you have a relationship with these people that are paying for your advice and doing this and that. But
Yeah.
you do need to work on managing expectations with them so that you're not, um, you know, gosh,
Bending over backwards.
getting pulled in 100 different directions. Can you schedule these strategy meetings like twice a month? Is that like
I
when
mean,
you initially
I
made the contract with them? What was laid out?
well, in the contract, there's like I think on the second page we have the scope of work, where we just like list off the stuff that I'll be doing for them. Obviously separated by commas, but it's just like little stuff like this that it wasn't really included, right? Like
Hmm.
it's not like this is like a big, set strategy meeting. It's more of like a, 30-minute chat on what the direction of the company is going, how we're going to get there, and just like a follow up, right? But it's like a 30-minute meeting, but then the drive here is like 20, and the drive back is another 20. So it, sucks at an hour of my day, and then it ruins my
Yeah,
the
I hate
what's
to
it
tell you
called?
to get picky because I mean you're 21 years old on pace to do some pretty awesome stuff, right? I mean you're learning a ton. I'm sure you're adding a lot of value to these businesses. You could come back to
Yeah,
them in 6 months and charge them a lot more money, and they would be happy to pay it because of the value that you're adding. So
yeah,
I'm not going to sit here and tell you to strong arm the Mercedes Benz dealer and tell them that you're not going to go see them and spend your time working with them. But I do think you got to
yeah,
work on just doing what's reasonable. I mean, obviously continue to deliver great work, but don't be afraid to set expectations and take a step back and say, hey, look, I have to really focus on this other work, and I'm really busy. I can't just come over on a whim. But at the
yeah,
same time, you got to have a balance and really kind of dote on your clients that are paying you $3,500 a month because that's great money.
yeah. So I think, thank you, man. I think that's some good advice. I think moving forward, I think we're just definitely established. I just feel like, not that I feel awkward saying it, right? It's just like, yeah, I just need to really figure out this.
I will say customers.
Uh,
I did a recent episode on how needy customers can get, and
yeah,
customers are really as needy as you let them become. If it becomes the norm that you are answering your phone and rushing over to the office to have a strategy meeting, then that's going to be the
yeah,
expectation moving
yeah.
forward. But if he calls you and you
Which
don't answer
I
your
don't really
phone,
want to have. Yeah,
then you can, not answer your phone the next time and it'll be fine. And you call him back at 4 p.m. when you're free and say, okay, let's get together tomorrow for lunch, or let's get together next Monday at this time. That's when I have free. So
yeah,
just, I hate to say don't answer the phone, but when you're doing video editing, when you're doing the things that have to get done, turn off your notifications. And when you get bored and tired of it, it's real easy to just, um, flip on Facebook or get distracted. Are most of your distractions other work, or are you doing time wasters?
no, it's other work. Like a big thing for me is like already with my time wasters, I'm I can get really distracted really easily. So I honestly just, like I said, I work from my bedroom. I have a desk in my room.
Mm-hmm.
I just throw my phone on my bed so it's like away from me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then yeah, like I honestly just work. Like I don't really have big time wasters. If now and then I'll just stop and either do yoga or play my guitar just to get my mind
Yeah,
a
that's
mental
great.
break from everything. But I don't really, I'm not there like playing Fortnite or like on Facebook, Instagram, like browsing my personal feed. I'm actually working on other stuff, right?
Yeah.
And for me, like I use Google like I have a Google phone, so I'll just like, like, okay, Google reminds me tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. that I need to call Pullman from Eurolux Motors, right? And it'll like I'll be tomorrow morning, you know, I'll be working on something, and then I'll get the reminder notification. It's like, oh shit, like, I forgot I had to do this. So
Yeah, you need to
it's
make
just like, I
lists.
don't know, it's just like,
I wouldn't set
yeah,
reminders like that. You need to make to-do lists. Like every day before I
okay,
leave the office, if you're watching the video, I make a little piece of paper. Like this is my to-do list that I made yesterday before I left the office. It literally has everything
okay,
that I need to get done the next day in order of importance. So
okay,
like I can come in without my phone on, without reminders, without beeping. I can see what I need to do, and I can also leave
for
work with
sure,
a clear mind, and then I can strategize and put blocks of time. There's actually a really
yeah,
good episode on Nick Bradley's Scale Up My Business podcast about planning your week that is really good about setting blocks of time and actually scheduling it out. I think you should do way
yeah,
more of that and way less, okay, Google, remind me at 4 p.m. tomorrow to do this, because
yeah, okay.
that's just gonna derail your productivity moving forward.
What other? So I'm big into like reading books and kind of like Daniel Pink, obviously the traditional, Dale Carnegie and Dear Napoleon Hill and stuff like that. What other books would you recommend, or podcasts or TED Talks regarding time management or
Yeah.
yeah, just like scheduling time, the time
Yeah,
management.
there's a podcast called Scale Up Your Business by Nick Bradley. He came on my podcast and talked about buying a business, and it's been one of my most popular episodes. Talks about why right
Sweet.
now is the best time to buy a business. But he has an awesome episode that just came out. I listened to it a few days ago. I'm going to look it up here on my phone about planning out your day, about literally
Okay.
planning out your week to be super productive. Um,
Yeah.
you need to do way more of that and way less, okay, Google, remind me of this, so that you can actually get your deep
Yeah.
work done without distraction. Keep your phone in the other room,
For
keep
sure.
your email off if you have to. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I have a book list on my website that I don't know specifically time management, what is best, but it's
Yeah.
all about routines and blocking your time, I think, and actually scheduling it out and putting some energy into that. Sunday is a great time to do that, Sunday evening. Monday
Okay.
morning, it's too late because the work is going to start hitting you, and people are get in the office on Monday morning and probably call your phone like crazy.
Yeah. And
Um,
emails.
yeah, so book list is on my website, sweatystartup.com/booklist. And
Okay.
there's a lot of great resources on there that you're going to love if you are into self-help and business. Tim Ferriss has
For sure.
two guests. I don't listen to all Tim Ferriss episodes. I think he's all over the place a little bit with his podcast. But Ryan Holiday and Seth Godin, I think they have 2 episodes each that are both phenomenal on the Tim Ferriss show. Um,
Yeah.
I listen to a lot of different podcasts. But yeah, sounds like you're in
Okay.
good shape,
Perfect.
man. You got a great business. So how much revenue are you bringing in on a monthly basis?
Right now, we're sitting about 9K, depending on what we're doing monthly, right? Like if we're doing just like a one-off video shoot or photo shoot. But on average, just for my retainers alone, we're doing about 8K. And
Wow.
then
And do you have an
like this
employee or a
month,
partner?
no, I just depending on what we're doing, like I outsource the work locally here, just with people I graduated with or mutual friends that are young and eager to work like me, and I just sort of have like a power group of people that are sort of like on a similar mindset, or they're all going their own stuff, they're freelancers, and we just work together that way.
That is
And
awesome.
just recently, I just started like editing videos, and actually I invested in camera gear and just dedicated uh, hours of my time just learning how to edit properly, how to record, filmmaking, photography. Because there was one month where I literally outsourced 9K worth of videography, and then I charged a markup on that to my clients, right? So it's just like, why would I spend 9K when I can just, that's something that I could probably learn and do myself, which I'm doing right now. So that's really helping my agency
Is
in
it
terms of revenue
high
numbers.
dollar per hour return on your investment, or does it make sense to outsource
Yeah,
that?
with videography and yeah,
Hmm.
like just with filmmaking alone is quite big. Like just for like a 4 or 5 hour shoot, we'll charge around minimum $950 or $900 Canadian,
Hmm.
depending on what we're shooting.
Hmm.
Um, but
That's
yeah.
awesome. You should think about getting an employee.
So I
If you
know
have that
that's
much
one thing that
retainer,
we were talking about.
if you have that much
Yeah,
retainer work, hiring a full time videographer editor in house would cost you a lot less than
yeah,
$9,000 a month, but be a great return on investment for you probably. That's
yeah.
great. So you got a lot
That's
of
what I'm
irons.
thinking of
How'd you
too,
get
right?
started?
So originally I honestly, man, like ever since I turned 18, like I started working for a bank as soon as I turned 18. And it's just like it's been a matter of like growing professionally since I was young. But with the marketing agency, it's just been, I was working full time, making 80K a year, working in outside sales for a company called Minolta. And I just sort of dropped that, resigned, and just started my marketing agency from that. Like I didn't really have, I made like a mini business plan for myself, and yeah, I just followed through with it. I
How'd you
just
get
quit
that
without
first
any
client?
guarantees. And cold calling, prospecting. It's just something that I went to school actually for marketing management, and I majored in professional sales. So selling for me and getting clients is, I don't want to say the easy part, but it's something that um, I feel like I'm pretty good at. So yeah, I just honestly just picked up the phone, started calling, emailing, commenting on Instagram posts, and sending them Instagram messages, and it just grew from there. So
Wow. Wow. So you literally said, okay, I want to do digital marketing. I want to do consulting. I want to do videography. How can I get some clients?
that's exactly what happened. And without much thought, like for me, I'm a big overthinker, and it just came to a point where I'm like, why am I overthinking this? Like there are other marketing agencies that are bringing in substantial amounts of revenue, and from my view, it doesn't even look like they're that good. No disrespect to any of them, but it's like I feel like if I could have done that, I would do it better, and I would just overthink it, and it just came to a point where I just like, screw it, I'm just gonna quit my job and just go full time with the agency, right?
So you got a
So it
big
was
you got a
obviously
big
a
car
month.
dealership. Was that your first big break?
No, my first big break was working with a real estate developer. He's a luxury home builder, renovator, and
How'd you
that's
get in
sort of
touch with
everything
him?
took off. Just cold call, just another cold
You
call
called him
center.
up and said, "Hey, I'm Nico. I want to do your digital marketing. We should meet. We should
Yeah,
meet
no,
up."
it's exactly. It was very it's more of just like an introduction. I just said, like this is me, this is who I am. Let me know if you're interested, and we'll go from there. Like I'd obviously compliment them on what they're doing right now. Same thing with Ferrari. I actually have a meeting next week with Lamborghini in Vancouver. And I just let her know. I was like, I really appreciate what you're doing for Lamborghini here in Vancouver. If you're interested, or I don't remember what I said, but I was like, we're working with Ferrari and Maserati down the street. We did some video projects for them. We're running an ad campaign for them as well. If that's something you're interested in, then it's just give me a call, and we just started talking from there. And yeah,
Wow, great work,
so
man. Great work. So what's your
thanks,
goal? What are your
thanks.
goals with this business?
You know what? I don't even know. It's weird because I made my little business plan in 3 years. Where I wanted to be at, and right now it's like everything's already going in a different direction. For a better way, better direction.
Hmm.
But I'm not sure. Like even when it comes to scaling the agency, like do I hire like an admin person? Do I hire like a videographer slash editor, like you said? Like I'm not sure
How many hours a week are you
where to
stuck doing the
go.
grunt work?
Ooh, I from like the morning to like 6 or 7, like depends. And then if I'm staying up, if I need to like, really grind something out, I'll stay up until like 1 or 2 in the morning.
Hmm. And
So
weekends,
I don't know. It's
weekends as
almost like a
well, probably.
24/7 thing. Yeah, weekends as well, of course.
So you're grinding.
So yeah, I'm just grinding right now.
You got some money in the
Not
bank
really
saved
sure.
up? I mean, do you feel confident in hiring somebody?
That's right now. I don't feel confident only because like everything is still, like I said, I've only been 4 or 5 months in business, right? So
Wow.
I really don't know how, like, essentially like how it works to a way, right?
Hmm.
So,
So
um,
are you going to be a videographer? Or are you going to be an online pay-per-click ad campaign? Are you going to be a billboard guy? Are you
we're
going to
we're
be
aiming we're aiming so my agency targets digital marketing, right? So we do content creation and pay per click, social media management. We do a little bit of website stuff like SEO. I don't really stepped foot in that a little bit. Didn't really like it that much. It's just a pain to work with clients.
Mhm.
But we just want to be like an all-in-one marketing agency, right? Like a big point for if we look at Ferrari and Maserati, talking to the marketing manager there, she was the one organizing, a photographer for this, a videographer for this. She doesn't really have time to be running ad campaigns. She doesn't really know how to do it. So that was a big pain point for her. And I just came in there and said, look, I can take all of this off your plate, put it on my plate, for X amount of dollars a month. How does that sound? And it was a big thing for her, which is, relief. She had to get that approved by her general manager, which she did. And yeah, just stuff like
are you
that.
making them money?
Yes, yes, we are making the money. So a big point for her was actually Maserati specifically. They're not doing so well in terms of revenue wise.
Mhm.
So she just wanted to book as many test drives as we could, bring as many people into the actual dealership as possible.
Mhm.
Um, and that's exactly what we did. So I told her like how it works. We can set up a pixel on the website, figure out the data, figure out what your audience looks like currently. Where do you want to go with it? And we both, I think within the first month, we got quite a bit, and she was super impressed. The manager was super impressed. So it's just like it's a really strong start. I'm just worried right now about the ad fatigue and if we're going to run into if we're going to plateau at a certain point. So
Mhm. Yeah, you're in a really
yeah,
tough spot, man, because there's so many different skill sets that you're trying to do right now. You're trying to wear five
I
or
know,
six hats.
I know, and that's where I feel overwhelmed to a
So
point, and that's what I mean. Like I'm not sure.
why did you go buy all the video equipment and decide that you wanted to become a video editor when you're so good at sales and being the front end relationship manager and the consultant and the relationship driver?
So I went to go buy the video equipment because if you look at my day at the time when I went to go buy it, which was like a month, 2 months ago,
Mhm.
I wasn't super busy with work.
Mhm.
and there were certain things that I was paying videographers to do, which I was like, dude, if I had like the equipment, the microphone, learned how to edit, I would be able to do this, and it would save me, $2,000 for, 4 hours of work or 6 hours of work, whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
And that's honestly why I did it. Like, why don't I just go there, film it myself, do it myself, and put in an extra hour, 2 hours of editing time?
Yeah.
And I can save that $2 or $3,000.
You got three ways. You got 3 ways to go, man. You're at a little bit of I wouldn't say you're at a crossroads. I think you're doing great. Don't try to make any drastic changes by what I'm going to tell you right now. You're on a really good track, but you have a couple different options. Number one, keep where you're at and doing a little bit of everything, and soon you're going to get totally overloaded. Your life is going to be all about work, and you're going to have no time to take on any more clients. But you're going to make great money.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to earn $100,000 a year or $150,000 a year. Option number 2 is to get really good at one of those things, either video, pay-per-click, and then still manage the relationship, like consulting, things like that, and then outsource everything else. The last option, which is, I think, the most scalable and how you get really big, is you develop relationships with a content creator. You develop relationships with an SEO guy. You develop relationships with a pay-per-click guy. You develop relationships with a videographer. You develop relationships with a graphic designer, and you don't do any of it. The only thing you do is answer the calls of the clients, draft their vision, and outsource it and upcharge it. And then you can do what you do best, which is go out and sell. That's how you could get big contracts, outsource it all. And when I say mark up, I'm not saying mark it up 10%. I'm saying mark it up 50% so that you're actually still bringing in enough money. If you did that, then yes, hire an admin. First hire admin, and you could bring in $300,000 a year. Before long, you'll get overloaded, and it's time to hire somebody else to manage the entire campaign to do this. But man, you have the golden ticket because you're the salesman. You can sell.
Yeah.
None of the content creators out there can't sell. The SEO guys out there can't sell. The pay-per-click guys can't sell. The digital marketers can't sell. The videographers can't sell. You're the salesman. Yeah. So do the sales, outsource all that shit. Yes, go in and do the meeting. Yes, when Maserati calls and says, get in my office right now, walk over there and get in the office. I keep saying Maserati, but it's Ferrari or whatever. But you be the main guy that they trust that can turn the visions into reality and delegate everything to no employees outside freelancers or companies even if they need high-end stuff. But if you start selling Ferraris for them, they're going to instantly say, okay, Nico, I want to stop spending $3,500 a month and I want to do 10 grand. Tell me what I can get for 10 grand. And you'll say, actually, if you're going to go 10 grand, we might as well go 50 grand and get some really good video, some interviews, some this, some that. and I'm serious. I'm serious.
Yeah.
So
the third option obviously is the most appealing, right? And it does make a lot of sense. Like, I understand scaling the agency in that aspect, right? And with the past examples, like, I think I was marking up between 30 to 40%. But it's just sometimes it's just such a pain point, right? Like with the SEO, for example, like I have an SEO guy, and it's just like I guess I'm just not used to the flow of things yet, but it's just something that I'm working on right now. It's just like learning how to develop a relationship with my SEO guy.
You're doing it right.
Send him work and just.
You're doing it right. I mean, learn everything yourself. I'm not telling you to start delegating all this stuff right now. You're doing it right because you're 21 years old and you're learning all 7 of these things.
Yeah.
And then soon you'll feel comfortable learning it enough to where you can delegate it. You can make sure it's still done right without having your hand in there.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you're on a great path, man. I'm really excited for you.
Thanks, man.
Any other thoughts? Any other thoughts about any other things? I mean, I'm not in your space, so it's really hard for me to give advice. So obviously take all this with a grain of salt. But the way I see you really growing something big here is doing what you do best, which is sales.
Yeah. And I think that's where I want to focus on too, right? Like you said, and same thing with me. Like, I know I'm not the expert at, like, people ask me, like, how did you manage Ferrari and Maserati, where there's content creators that are going in there every day trying to shoot for them, even for free, and they get denied, right? And people ask me, like, how did you get that? And I said, like, I'm not the greatest photographer, I'm not the greatest videographer, but what came down to it was just my interpersonal skills and, like, how I was able to make the other person feel about myself and
trusted
the agency,
you,
right? And the work we're going to be doing. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's what I tell people, right? It's like they don't understand, or like people with my real estate clients too, like they just don't understand. Like, that's really, it's not like I'm some amazing salesman. It just comes down to, like, your interpersonal skills, how you talk to other people, and yeah, I don't know.
It's exciting. You got a skill that's going to make you a ton of money, man, if you do it right.
Yeah, man. That's the goal, and then we'll talk a few years from now and look back on this conversation. So.
Yeah, let's actually talk. Let's schedule another call for about 6 months. I want to see what you're up to then. See what of this stuff you've been able to delegate. But I think in the short term, track your time on what content creating you're doing, what SEO you're doing, what pay-per-click stuff you're doing, what video creating stuff you're doing, and seeing what is the most profitable stuff. Outsource the non-profitable stuff first, right?
Yeah, for sure. Exactly.
Yep, and make sure your clients that are paying you $3,500 a month don't need to be raised to $5,000 or spent too much time. It's really easy to say. It's really easy if you're delivering results. And the good thing about you is you're in marketing, so you know if you're making them money or not. You know it. If you're making them money and they're getting a ton of value, it's really easy to go to the table and say, "Hey, look, we've been having a ton of success. I've been devoting a lot of time to this. We need to raise the retainer, or we need to set the retainer for this stuff, and then my consulting is going to be billed per hour." You can break it up and get creative with the way you structure it.
Yeah, and that's one thing that we have in the contract as well. There's a note that says like, and I let them know too, right? Like especially with the clients that we'll start with 3 months that are really hesitant to signing on to like a 6 months or 1 year contract. Start with 3 months, and then at the end of 3 months, depending on the results that I achieve for them, the commitment, the retainer is revised and you can negotiate a new retainer, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, it's like I can either choose to stay with them or not, right? If they're not going to pay me essentially what I want or what my time is worth, then I will just refer them to another marketing agency. If not, but if they are, they're happy with the results and they're willing to pay more, then I'll sign them on and we'll make it a long-term thing.
This is great. You're doing a lot of things right. I think I'm excited. I was excited to hear the story. I think a lot of people are going to get a lot out of this. So thank you for calling in that regard. And as always, reach out if you need anything along the way or if you want to talk again.
For sure, man. And thank you for the opportunity as well. And obviously with the advice one time, that was a big help for me. Actually, not something that I've thought about before. So.
Hey, I'm glad I was able to help. Like I said, get a lot of advice, but thank you so much for calling in, Nico, and best of luck, man. Yeah. We'll talk soon.
All right. Cheers, Nick. Thank you so much.
Talk soon. Bye.
All right. Talk soon. Bye.
All right. That was exciting. That was good stuff. If you want to come on the show, let me know. Call me up. Making another call here.
Hello?
I'm Ed. How's it going?
Hey, Nick. How are you?
You are live on the Sweaty Startup.
Oh, man. Thanks for giving me a call. Can you hear me fine?
I can hear you just fine.
All right.
It's a little grainy. If there's anything,
it's a little grainy. Let me fix that. I'm gonna get off of my headphones here. Can you hear me better now?
That's way better. Awesome.
All right. Awesome. Thank you, by the way, for taking this call. That's awesome.
No problem. So we talked a little bit before. I'm going to recap a little bit to everybody about what's going on. How old are you again?
I'm 25.
25. I have a new baby.
Yes.
You have an expensive car. You have a good job right now. And you are trying to launch a moving company.
Correct.
Tell me what you got planned.
What I got? What? Sorry.
So I guess I'll do a little bit more recapping to save some time here. But you have a business partner that is a realtor, and he has an in with getting people who are about to move. He sells and buys a lot of houses. So you guys are going to team up. You guys have already booked some moves. Is that right?
That's correct. We have about 3 booked moves.
Are you doing the moves yourselves right now, renting a truck, or how are you doing that?
So right now, the houses they're closing in a couple of months. And so we're using this time right now to basically buy a truck because we have the funds, and we're going to hire some people just because he has some back pain. I can't do moves because of some leg pain. And so we're going to definitely hire people, and that's one of the things we're struggling with as well.
Okay, yeah. I tried to start a moving company in Boston.
Yeah.
And it was a nightmare. We broke a lot of stuff. We scratched up a lot of doors. We ruined a lot of furniture. We took way too long on a lot of moves. We misquoted a lot of moves. And that's with a really good guy who does pickup and delivery storage for my business, basically on the truck doing the moves.
Oh, well, that's great news.
No, it's not. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. But what I'm trying to say is that it's a business that you cannot just hire a couple cronies off Craigslist or off Indeed,
Right.
interview them, and tell them to go out and operate the moving company for you.
Right.
So, what's your plan? What have you tried so far, and what are you and your partner thinking as far as staffing and going from there?
So our plan is to try to see if we can poach somebody from another moving company who is very professional and hire them as a manager and basically give them a raise or a salary bump.
Whoa, you're thinking about giving somebody a full-time job here while you have only 3
well,
moves booked?
we're going to work some stuff out. So we're not going to give him a full-time job right away. We're going to basically try to see if we can hire him as a contractor at first for these moves on the side, but give him basically a lot more than what his current company is giving him. Obviously, he can keep his full-time job. But another thing that we might do is, so I joined a Facebook group called the 7-Figure Moving Academy.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, there is a ton of support on there. And I've been offered from successful moving companies for people to help me look for people for moving, help me look for workers. I've been offered for somebody to fly in and actually help me set up this company. And so we're not just going to hire anybody. We want to make sure that we hire somebody that's obviously you can't hire a unicorn like you say in a lot of your podcasts, but we're trying to hire somebody that can come in and do the moves, someone that we can trust. And either I or my partner will be there during the move. We just can't carry the stuff.
Gotcha. Okay, and I'm assuming you have some resources like training videos, how to wrap the furniture, how to properly lift it, how to properly up and down stairs, everything like that.
Yep. We have all that set up, especially when we joined the 7-Figure Academy or 7-Figure Moving Academy. They have all the resources. It's a membership base, but they have all the resources that we need in order to not go in on crutches.
Okay, perfect. All right, so let's assume you find this guy that's going to maybe you book the moves on the weekends at first, and maybe he works on the weekends to make extra money. Is that what you're thinking? So he doesn't have to quit his job?
That's the goal. The goal is not to have him quit his job right away, but the goal is to kind of have him come where he's not working and then pay him better than what his current job is paying, so he knows that he can fall back on us when we grow. Okay,
perfect. So what are your other worries here as you grow and build the business?
One of my biggest worries is figuring out what to do next, and I've struggled with that a lot. Okay, I've done this, I've done that. What's next? I know that setting up a goal and working backwards, kind of taking your advice on that. But then sometimes I find myself just sitting there and be like, okay, what should I do now? I don't know what to do now. But I always want to be doing something in order to get me to that goal.
Okay. So have you figured out – I want to talk briefly about your partnership.
Yeah.
How do you know this guy? What are the expectations here as you start the business? Who's going to put the money in? Who's going to do the sales? Right. Who's going to do the work? Who's going to do what? Right.
So how I know him, we're friends from a really long time ago. Basically, we were always trying to start a business together. And then with the moving company, I said, hey, why don't we start a moving company? Because with his realtor job, what he does is he offers free moves for his tenant if he closes with a customer. And so when he shops for moving companies, like, for example, 2 men in a truck, they're just to get somebody out to get an estimate took 2 weeks. They're a month booked ahead. You Move Me is a month booked ahead. So all these companies are super booked up. And when I came to him, I said, hey, why don't we start a moving company? He's like, that sounds like a really good idea because I'm having these problems. Mm-hmm. And so
are you sure about that? Are you sure that they're that booked out? Have you actually called them yourself?
Oh, yeah. Of course. I've called them. I've had people come into my house to give me estimates.
Good.
I've called the smaller companies, and they're also pretty booked. Okay. I've called companies that have 1 truck. I've called companies that have 4 trucks. I've called companies that offer really cheap labor versus companies that offer high cost labor. And I've called them, asked them, stayed on the phone for 30, 40 minutes with customer service reps who are willing to talk and just ask them question after
Beautiful.
question.
Beautiful. That's the best market study you can do. So if there's anybody listening, that's step 1 when you want to start a business is do exactly what you did there. Dive into the competition. All right. So is your an early plan to get customers from this guy paying for them out of his commission, basically? He offers free moves for people who sell a house with him. So does he kind of bake that into the commission, or how does he pay for it?
Right. So he pays for it out of his commission, and obviously because this is his money, and this is a total. So he's treating our company as a totally separate company. He's not treating it as, this is my company, I'm going to do free moves. And we've set that standard up before we talked about creating the partnership. I told him, hey, I know this is your company. This is going to be part of your company as well, the moving company, but we can't mix the two together. They have to be totally separate.
Okay. Are you sure? Are you sure that this is not a how much money does he make as a realtor? Would you guess a year?
How much money does he make as a realtor?
Yeah, it's just a wild guess, and you don't have to tell me if you don't want that.
He makes probably like $6,000 a close.
How many houses does he sell a year?
So far, he's sold about 20.
Okay.
This year.
So he makes a lot of money then.
I'm assuming so. Yeah.
Okay. Are you sure that he's not just doing this as a save money play? Because if he's making that kind of money as a realtor, why the heck would he want to do low margin labor business moving unless it was a save money play for him?
Right. That's a good question. I haven't asked him that, but I'm assuming it's because he wants to slowly grow this moving company into multiple branches, and that's kind of my goal as well. So our goal is to not just have one truck for many years. Our goal is to have 3 trucks by the end of our first year.
Okay.
So we want to grow the company, and that's why we're throwing capital at it in the beginning.
How much capital have you guys invested already, and how much are you going to plan to invest?
So we haven't invested a lot. We've invested maybe $200 just setting up the LLC, setting up all the little admin stuff. Mm-hmm. We're still looking for a truck, but we can invest each about $10K each.
Okay.
So 10K out of pocket and 10K out of pocket each. We can definitely do that, and that's what we talked about. We said let's start with 10K.
Have you budgeted how much it's going to cost you to get a truck? Because that's not going to even put a dent in the size truck you need to move these houses that he's getting $6,000 commission on. I mean, that's going to need a 24-foot truck or even longer.
Right. Houses in Minnesota are pretty expensive.
Just your workers' compensation policy is going to be at least probably $1,000 or $2,000 down deposit. LLC fees, admin, your liability insurance, your property insurance. I mean, you're gonna have $10,000 spent before you even look at a truck.
Yes. Yep. And so we've taken that into account, and that's why we're each putting in $10,000 each. Our truck, we're gonna buy a used truck. We're trying to stay under the $8,000 mark. I have multiple friends.
$8,000 26-foot. You're gonna buy a 26-footer or a 16-footer?
We're thinking of a 24-footer.
You're gonna get a crappy truck for $8,000. That's not gonna be reliable.
Right. So the goal, I guess that's good advice. I guess our goal is to get a truck to last us the first 6 months.
So why would you not just rent a truck so that you don't own it, and if you want to shut this thing down, you can?
We've talked about that, and I am considering that, but the only problem is we want to keep our logo on the side of the truck. I don't know if that will be. Is that a huge thing or no?
A logo on the side of the truck is valuable. Don't get me wrong, but it's not it's not valuable enough to have a $20,000 truck sitting idle with commercial auto, with all that equipment in it. You know, that's all right. So, you know, I don't want to shoot down your dreams here. And I mean, if you have,
no, that's fine.
If you have,
that's why I'm on the call.
Yeah. If you have management experience and you think you can give this a go and you have the cash sitting aside to do it, absolutely get after it. But I'm looking at a guy who has a sore back and a guy who can't do moves, and that they want to start a moving company for $10,000, and the partner is got his hands in it and kind of paying for it, but not paying for it. This has some red flags to me. I think first step, you need to find out how you're going to get moves that are not your partner.
Right. Yep. And I think we've talked about that, and we're gonna. So that's where sales comes in, and I'm a salesperson by trade.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. That's the best trade.
Yeah, and that's where I come in. I'm gonna, once we get our logo finished, which is almost done, I'm going to start creating some marketing material. I'm going to start creating material that I need in order to go to places. One of my main market focuses are going to be nursing homes and assisted living homes.
Okay.
I'm going to go to all the ones in the Twin Cities, all the ones in the suburbs of the Twin Cities, and just try to get a meeting with the managing facility manager and just talk and introduce myself, give him my card, try to create a relationship. That will be before. So a lot of the guerrilla marketing, I'm planning to do that just because we don't want to spend too much money on fancy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm gonna take time out of my weekend, 8 hours a day, just go to these places, kind of like Max Mayer did.
Yeah, perfect. That's what I was going to bring up. That's episode, for those listening, it's episode 44 of this podcast. Yeah. Listen to that because he went to 500 businesses, storage facilities, apartment complexes, realtors' offices. Okay, so you're going to sell. Great. What's your expectation with your partner? What's your partner going to do on a day-to-day basis?
My expectation is that so he's going to try to get us as much he's going to also do a bit of sales, but we're going to try to get in as many relationships as possible with real estate realtors.
Is he going to do the sales there?
He's going to do the sales there, yep. So he's going to do the sales there. He's going to try to create as many relationships there.
Is he going to try, or do you guys have actual outlined plans of action that you're going to hold each other accountable to?
Yeah. We don't have any actual plans yet, but we haven't had the opportunity to meet as much as we'd like, just because the past 3 weeks, again, with the baby being new,
mm-hmm.
I just haven't had much time. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, I haven't been getting much sleep, but with the baby being new in the past 3 weeks, I just haven't had the time to kind of relax and go have a meeting with him. And so I'm trying to help my wife get back on her feet as much as possible and be there for her in the first month.
Absolutely.
After that first month mark, it's going to be all, hands on deck. And that's why we're kind of holding off on the truck. I have multiple people that go to auctions on the daily.
Do you have a website? Let's not talk truck. You're way off from truck. Let's not say the T word anymore. Do you have a website yet?
No, but I'm looking for somebody that I can hire from.
Did you buy a domain?
I did.
Okay. WordPress, put it on there and start poking around and get some pages up. Step 1. Step 2, go on Fiverr. It'll take you 10 minutes to find somebody on Fiverr to make it look like another moving company's website. You write all the content yourself. Hire somebody on Fiverr to make it look like the website that you want it to look like. That's somebody that doesn't operate in the Twin Cities. Part 3, get a graphic designer on Fiverr, pay them a couple $100 to put a bunch of graphics on the website. Okay? You got no excuse not to have that done in a week.
Right.
That needed to be done a month ago. Okay, so you need to sit down with your partner. This is the big red flag for me is the partnership. I see a realtor who can't help move, who sells houses, makes great money selling houses, that thinks that him sending his own people to you, which is overhead for him, by the way. It's literally coming out of his pocket. I think he sees that as what is expected of him to start this company. You need to make sure that's not the case. You need to go there and have the talk of saying, what if this? What if that? How are we going to charge? How am I going to charge enough money to you? Remember, he's paying you. How am I going to charge enough money to you to make this worth it for all of us?
Right.
You got to have all those really hard talks about that. And how many moves are you going to go to? How many moves am I going to go to? What if I go out and sell and I get all of our business? What happens then? Who's going to put in this amount of money? Who's going to put in that amount of money? What if one of us has to quit their job and step in and run the moving company? Who's going to do it? Is it going to be you or is it going to be me? And the answer to almost all those, in my opinion, is going to be, I'm too busy selling really expensive houses to get involved. It's on you to sell. It's on you to do the moves. It's on you to manage the company. It's on you to get customers. And you're going to be pissed about that. And I would be pissed as well. So and I think you should have him listen to this podcast. Maybe I'm wrong, but it'll spark the conversations that you two need to sit down and have together.
Right.
Because you don't want to worry about all this when you've sunk $50,000 into this business, you've done 5 or 10 moves, you're having problems, or it blows up and you got all kinds of money, and then it's just not fair either because you're doing all the work or he's doing all the work. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe it's you that has unreasonable expectations of him that kind of it's counting on him to run the business.
Right.
So those are all questions that I think you really need to get to the bottom of now.
Okay.
Step 2, get your website up and sell.
Yep.
And do that before you have a truck. Rent a truck.
Really? Okay.
Yes. Do not buy a truck. You do not need a truck. Go sell some moves, do some moves, rent a truck for $100. You can rent a 26-foot Ryder truck for $150 a day.
Right.
And you can only buy it on the days that you do a move and take it back and stop paying for it. So if you get 2 moves in a month, you've only spent $300 that month for the truck. But guess what? If you owned a truck, your payment would be $300. Your insurance would be another $600. The place to park it, where the heck are you guys going to even park a 26-foot truck? That's going to cost money.
Right. We talked about that.
This is all adding up to you all not needing a truck until you're doing 10 moves or more a month, which is way down the road.
So when do you think we should buy a truck? At what level?
I didn't buy a truck. We did 20 moves last month in Boston. We don't own a truck. We rented it every time.
Oh, really?
Because it doesn't make sense. I mean, it's expensive as heck to own a big, expensive truck. So until you're putting that truck to work every single day, it makes sense to rent 10 trucks for $1,500 in a month. It just makes sense. Because if the moves stop coming or if it slows down this winter, like Minnesota's about to freeze over, everybody's going to stop doing everything. And your truck that you're spending $2,000 a month just to have on the road is going to be sitting in a parking spot that you're paying $500 a month to park it in.
Yeah, that's okay. That all sounds ridiculous to me when I think about it now.
Yep, local moves are also really hard. I got bad news. It's hard. It's a race. It's a low margin business. You have got to find a way to differentiate yourself and charge more money. You have to charge more than 2 guys in a truck. You have to charge more than all the local movers. And your buddy's not going to like that because it's coming out of his commission.
Right. No, we've already agreed that we're going to be a high-end mover, so we're going to be around the 140 plus per hour.
So why is the guy going to want to hire you when it's coming out of his commission when he could hire these other companies like he's doing already for cheaper?
He wants a good experience. He's tried to get AAA or 2 men in a truck. 2 men in a truck were much cheaper, but he went with AAA because of the customer experience, because of the quality of the move.
Okay. Yeah, it sounds like you guys, and I don't want to be all negative here. It sounds like you all have really thought this through. I would spend some time setting expectations, and I would get some business. Yeah. Period. Go get some business. Until you've booked 10 moves that have come from nowhere, but your own sales, not your partner. Until you've booked 10 moves, you don't have anything. You don't have anything.
And then in terms of hiring people for those moves, where do you think I should look?
Honestly, I think you should do them yourself. Unfortunately.
Okay.
I know you said you have some pain and your partner has a bad back. Right. But you need to learn this.
I mean, I could probably go in on the move and do some like the smaller stuff. Like I won't be carrying couches or anything, or bed frames or anything. But I can like move the boxes. I can move that kind of stuff. So, and he can probably do that too. His back pain is just. We were worried that it was just like bigger, heavier items.
Don't go in there and mess your health up. That's for sure.
Right.
Yeah, I'm nervous for you. Honestly, I think you might want to really rethink how to start. If you can't do the moves yourselves, I mean, I still think you can do it in a low risk way. I'm not telling you to give up. I'm telling you to get your darn website up because you should have had it up months ago, and a place where people can actually read about your business and submit a quote request, quote some jobs, quote them high, try to get some sales, and then even contract another company or get somebody to come in and do the moves with you, like hire friends with a T-shirt on. Right. That's what you need to do. And once you get some momentum, take the next step, which is thinking about a truck and thinking about a full-time employee and thinking about some other things.
Okay. No, that makes complete sense. No, that puts everything into perspective now, and I'll definitely get those things done by the end of the week, like the website, some of the marketing material.
Good. Get your partner on. Get on the horn with your partner too. Write down a question. Write down and play the what if game. I call it the what if game. Literally, make a list of what ifs. Yep. What if this? What if that? What if this? What if that? What if this? All the hardest questions. Yep. What if I hurt myself? What if you hurt yourself? What if I die? What if you die? What if you get a divorce? What if I get a divorce? Write it all down and then answer those questions in front of each other so that you're on the same exact page and that you are and more importantly, what if I make all the sales? What if I bring in all the business? What if I'm the manager? What if I'm doing everything and you're not doing anything? What then? So that way you all can have a really, really good sense of expectations, and you're way more likely to be successful when you have those conversations right off the bat.
Okay.
It's exciting. I think you should do it. I'm not telling you not to do it.
It's exciting,
I hope you're not down.
I mean, It's exciting, and I think I'm gonna send him the what if episode that it's like episode 30 something. I can't forget what it was. Can't remember. But you had a partnership episode. I'm gonna send him that before, and then we're gonna try to meet tomorrow for a couple of hours and go over that. But yeah, that you're definitely right. Regardless of how good of friends you are, it still doesn't matter.
So you have the character. There's two things that can go wrong in a partnership. The character is number one, and you can trust his character. I'm assuming that you know that he's not going to steal from you and rip you off.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Okay, so the only thing you have to worry about is value. You're bringing more value than you're getting compensated for, or he is bringing more value than he's getting compensated for. Right. So all you got to talk about is that. Sales. Okay. What if I do all the sales? Management. Right. What if I'm doing all the management? Bringing in the business. What if you do all that? Let's talk about this conflict of interest of you paying for the moving. Let's talk about that. How's it going to work?
Yeah.
If you guys outline all that, you'll be in a lot better shape as partners.
Okay. And one thing we've talked about before, and I don't know if this will make things easier, is we're not going to take any money out of the business for at least the first 2 years.
That's good. I like that plan.
Everything is going to go back into the business.
Yep. The worst partner to have is a broke partner that needs money.
Right.
Good. So it sounds like you got, and I'm assuming personal finance wise, you're kind of going to lean out and keep your expenses low.
Yeah. Again, when we talked on the phone, I live with my parents, so I don't pay rent.
Perfect.
And so yeah, I'm going to keep it as lean as possible.
Beautiful thing. Sounds like you're ready, Ahmed.
Awesome. This is super exciting. I'm getting into it, and hopefully it doesn't go down now.
Hey, there's only one thing I'm going to ask of you leaving this conversation. Send me an email 1 month from now and let me know what all you've accomplished. And you better have a really good website. You better have some moves on the calendar, and you better have gotten out there and mix it up.
Okay. No, fantastic. I'll definitely do that. Thank you so much, Nick. This has been super, super helpful. And thank you for doing the Sweaty Startup, by the way. It's amazing. It's a big resource.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate you calling in. It's again, like I said, I'm no expert at this stuff, so I think you should get more advice. Talk to a lot of different people about all this stuff, and you'll hear a lot of different things. And just make your own best decision and find your own way. Good luck with the kid. I know it's an exciting time. I actually have 2 kids of my own that my wife and I have gotten really serious about helping them sleep a little better. So if you're interested in that, I think I do have a little episode about that as well.
Yeah, it's already happening. She's awake always throughout the night, and so.
Oh, good luck, man. I hope you get that figured out.
Yeah, thank you, Nick.
All right, best of luck.
Much.
Happy days with the family, and we'll talk soon.
Yeah, thanks, Nick.
All right,
have a good one. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
All right, another fun episode. Awesome stuff. Let's see here. Thank you for a couple comments. Bryant says, I missed it, but could you do an episode with your advice on sales? Bryant, my advice on sales is episode 44. That's the Max Maher interview. And there's another episode about how to start a videography business. I'm going to look it up right now because I think it's important. It's where I talk about basically why it's so important to be a salesman and how you can really get to the top. It doesn't matter how good of a product you have. The way you get to the top is by being really, really good at sales. Let me see here. I'm going to find it. I think it's how to start a videography business. Yeah, number 96. 96 is a really good one. And then I also did... Let's see here. 65. Episode 65 is the main episode for how to start a videography business and how to sell. It's the episode that totally talks all about sales. But yeah, thank you guys for listening, and I appreciate everything. We're having fun. I'm in the office here in Athens. We're doing some big things. I made a Reddit post yesterday about all the storage properties that we're in the process of buying. I'm busy as heck. So I do these calls to not only get involved, but also to create content. So it's a win-win. If you got some things going on, got a business idea, got a business, got some things you're struggling with, set up a call. Call in. We'll talk about it. And I'm going to peace out. Talk soon, guys.